Welcome to the KMC Collective Podcast, where the KMC team brings you practical insights, creative ideas, and authentic conversations for children's ministry leaders. Each conversation is packed with strategies to help you lead with clarity, build strong teams, nurture families, and stay healthy in the process. Whether you're planning lessons, training volunteers, or seeking encouragement for the week ahead, this podcast is for you. We hope to make you laugh, cry, think, and maybe a bit of all three in each of our weekly conversations. This is the KMC Collective Podcast. Let's jump into the conversation.
Okay, friends. Nearly every kidmin leader has lost a volunteer that we didn't see coming. Today, we are going to dive into the conversation most of us are probably afraid to have. The question is, what if it wasn't about that volunteer? What if it was about us? Welcome to the KMC podcast. My name's Vicki.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Ben, and that was Cole.
Who's got his bike?
I'm Cole. Sorry.
Welcome to episode 2, guys.
Sorry.
He's all in. He's like, I cannot wait to hear this conversation about
I muted it by accident. I'm sorry.
That took me back to the very first radio show.
This is awesome. I love it. I'm excited to dive in. We promised transparency.
That's right.
We promised that we were going to be real. And if you have been in that spot where you have lost a volunteer and you didn't see it coming, this episode's for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think everybody
So what are your
struggles.
first thoughts?
Well,
This is gonna
everybody
be
struggles. Yeah. This could be a little sensitive at times, I think, because but yet we want to, one of the things I think we want to help everybody avoid is being too negative on the volunteers, because there's a lot of volunteer bashing that happens in children's ministry Facebook groups. And that critical spirit can come out in a lot of ways and hurt your recruiting. Yeah. So I'm anxious to get into this conversation a little bit and see how we're gonna talk this through. But I think people will walk away. I hope they'll walk away with some good practical ideas of, hey, what do I do when they do quit on me, and how can I make this better? Because this is just going to be the beginning of a couple different podcasts on volunteers. So I hope our listeners will either watch on YouTube or stay tuned on the audio, one or the other. But
when you said we were coming in hot, when you said we were coming in hot on season 3 last episode, start hot, and this is definitely a hot topic for sure.
It is.
All right. If we're doing hot topics, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to ask you guys a hot topic question.
Let's go.
Oh boy, here we go.
I want real talk. I want a real story. Well, of course, you're not going to make up one.
I'm going to do a fake story. Okay, I write it up for you.
Hypothetically,
press mute button.
At a church unknown to me, there was this one time.
I've never lost a volunteer ever.
What did you learn after a volunteer quit? Was there a time where a volunteer quit and then you learned some really valuable information after the fact? And we're talking about not about them, maybe about the ministry, onboarding, the way you led them. Do you guys have a time?
Yeah, I have one. Oh, Ben, your hand was up first. You go first.
No, dude, you've been excited about talking about yours, so I'm like, is AI finished? Downloaded?
Yeah, I got the prompt and it's all good. Actually, this one, I'm probably never gonna forget this, and I might have discussed this in the past, but I had a volunteer quit. Well, they quit because I realized they needed to step down because the position wasn't correct for them anymore. They were a welcome team, but they weren't very welcoming. Even though they'd been doing it for longer than I had been alive at that point in my life. But I didn't have the next place for them.
Oh.
So like I was more so because it was early on in my ministry life, and I was more so like, I have to have a tough conversation. I have to ask someone that's been serving longer than I've been alive to not serve in that position.
Ouch.
I was 23 years old. They'd been in kids ministry for 30 years
Yeah, that'd be
at the
tough.
time. And
That would
I
be tough.
didn't think through it or have the at the time it was I didn't know what I didn't know. And so I didn't think through it or have the understanding that maybe I should talk to my next gen pastor about what does transitioning off the team look like.
Mm.
And so I had a conversation with them. I probably shouldn't have done it in between services on a Sunday in the hallway.
Oops.
It just keeps getting worse.
It just
Yeah,
keeps getting worse. I know. I mean,
wow.
Wrecking.
I'm not feeling so bad.
So-
Thanks, Cole.
yeah, I know. So I remember standing in the hallway with him and just saying, hey, I appreciate you guys serving for all these years and everything you brought to the team, but I think we need to have you step away. I just don't think it's a good fit anymore. And then their response was, okay, where are we going now? And I went,
Oh,
Haven't thought through that.
I did. I said, I haven't, and I'm stuttering. I haven't, let me think about that and let me get back to you. And they said, you know what? I think we're just going to be done. And then they walked away. So
That's hard.
oh my.
yeah, I mean, I'm going to give myself some grace. I was 23 years old, but
Yeah, there you go.
And what a leadership lesson. I mean, right? We
Yeah.
don't want to learn those that way, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I am similar kind of story, but early on in ministry, I was worked as a volunteer, worked into to where the church has extra money and was giving me a stipend for gas. And first job that I had full time children's ministry. I was all of, I doing what I knew to do, and that was just teach kids about Jesus. Well, what I had to learn the hard way was not only was I teaching kids, but I was trying to recruit volunteers and keep them on my team. And what I failed at was I would only have conversations with these volunteers if it was strictly business. Like I was so focused on teaching the kids that when I come in, I'm like, okay, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. Or whenever I text you, or whenever I call you, we're talking ministry. So much so that I missed the relational part of it. I got it good with kids, like, high five, fist bumps, but it was strictly business when it came to my relationship with my volunteers. So much so that 2 years later ended up getting fired because I could not recruit and I could not keep volunteers because they felt like it was just a job to them because it was, for me, just a job for them. And so I learned very quickly in my next job to take time to listen, and not only listen, but genuinely care, like about their family,
There you go.
about their kids playing soccer, about their kids play, dance, whatever it is. Like it's more than just a Sunday morning. It's more than like a weekend experience. It is genuinely, these are people that are in your circle, and you got to open up your ears and you got to open up your heart. And man, I failed miserably. It cost my job, and I learned the hard way because of it. And now, like, I think I lean more towards relationship than I actually do recruiting, because I like, if you don't feel like this is the right fit, I'm not gonna literally try to put you in a spot. I want to develop and help you see to a fault. And so for me, like, relationship is most important now, but definitely learning the hard way for sure.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
What about you, Tom?
I think one of the lessons I learned after a leader quit was that I was not good at delegating. I thought I was. If you'd asked me, "Are you a good delegator?" Yeah, I got people doing stuff, but I had some volunteers literally say to me, "Look, I don't think you really need us."
Mm.
And it was because I wasn't, while I might have been delegating a little bit to them, I wasn't letting them own it. I was treating them like renters.
Yeah.
And because of that, it impacted them in a negative way, to where they felt like I really didn't need their help. I didn't really need their skills, their talent, their ability, even though they were doing things better than I could do them. I just wasn't letting them own what they needed to own. And so one of the things that I think that was probably the most powerful lesson I learned was, you can't just talk about delegation. You got to be about delegation. And if you're going to delegate, you got to let them own it. Because if you don't let them own it and you treat them like renters, they're going to quit. And so I learned a lot about my own self as a leader, that I was a little insecure of, well, what if they do this better than I am? What is the senior leader going to look at me and, cross-eyed because, hold it, what are we paying you to do? And I was fearful of that. Again, I talked about that, in the first episode, of how I had a real fear of man problem, bigger than my fear of God.
Yeah.
And so I think that was one of the biggest lessons I learned about volunteers, is that you gotta let them own it, because if they don't, they're gonna quit on you. Yep.
Tom, to your point, I had my next gen pastor one time told me, he goes, "Cole, he goes, it was like one of my first meetings with me. He goes, "If you can work yourself out of a job, I will always have a job for you." He goes, "When you're delegating things, just don't delegate tasks, delegate responsibility, because they're growing the kingdom." And so if they can see that bigger picture, and you're not just like, "Go get those pencils over there." But if you're saying, "Hey, I want you to be in charge of supplies, because those supplies equip the kids to learn about Jesus," and if you can show them that we're spreading the gospel by you doing this thing, that they'll own that piece. They'll be, that responsibility will be owned.
Yeah. I'm curious for you guys. What do you guys think? Because this is always the hot topic on Facebook groups. What are some of the top reasons why people walk away and quit volunteering in kids ministry specifically? I'm dying to know. Vicky, I'm gonna put you right on the spot. Since you did it to us, well, I'm gonna flip it around.
Yeah.
What do we think? What do we think, if we were going to compile a list, what would be the top reasons?
So I don't know if this is the number one reason, but I think it's pretty high. Like, we know, like Ben already said, like relationships. I think training. I think training is probably in the top 3 of why people quit and walk away. If we don't onboard them well, and just they're filling a spot, they will walk away. Like, they need vision, they need the mission, but they need to know before they walk in that room, right? Their why, but also, what are the policies and procedures? What are they doing? Who are the people that they're going to serve with? And I have been, like, in the past, I have done it wrong, where, like, right, you have 9 holes and promotion weekend is next week and you have to get everyone in. And so you're just rapid fire placing them, putting them in, doing a 10-minute training. And then I had those 9 holes filled, and 3 to 6 months later, guess how many of those holes were empty again? I think like 6 or 7.
Oh,
because I didn't train and equip them. I didn't onboard them well. And so that, for me, that was a big learning. And I think it's one of the top 3. We need to onboard our volunteers well, with truth, but also grace. For me, some of my volunteers are going to onboard in 2 weeks. Other times it might take them 2 months because they're busy and their kids have soccer, and I have to give them grace. And I can't be like, well, they just don't want to serve because it's taking them too long. I need to give them grace and still honor them well. And those are some of my best long-term volunteers.
That's so good. All right, somebody else. What's one of your top reasons?
I learned, I didn't learn this the hard way, but I had a long conversation with a kidmin friend of mine, and she said, "Are you thanking your volunteers?" Like, I wasn't losing volunteers, but I felt like something was missing. And it was a thank you. Now, it wasn't like I went and shook everybody's hands every single week. Thank you so much, but the acknowledgement that they were there, the acknowledgement that they put forth an effort to do what they've been called to do on a Sunday morning, and then also finding a place in my budget to create a place that I could spend money on them in some capacity. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of money, but and doesn't have to be generic or anything like that, but like thanking them for serving. As you're walking around on a Sunday morning, pop your head in a classroom and just observe things, or observe it from the hallway. That's my favorite thing to do, is I observe from the hallway away from the door. And then when I notice things, and then I see like, a volunteer come by and be like, "Hey, Todd, when I saw you do this, that, and the other thing, that was pretty cool, man. Thanks for serving this weekend." He kind of looks at me like, "What?" That type of thing. But like,
catch him in the act.
Just catching him in the act, a little bit. And then just making sure that they hear that thank you, that because like they could be serving anywhere. They could be serving in youth. They could be doing the welcome desk. They could, whatever, name the ministry, they could be there. And let's be honest, as kids people, our responsibilities that we give volunteers are on a different level than like the cafe or the welcome as you come in the door, or shaking hands and things like that, or the info desk and stuff like that. There's a lot of responsibility there that you're putting into someone's hand. And whether they understand it at the moment they say yes or not. And so thanking them, because what they're doing is a huge, huge, huge thing for the kingdom.
Yep.
This is a good question. I guess my biggest one would be losing them, because like you said, they don't feel like they're needed, and the full responsibility wasn't given. I think that's my biggest one. Sports is always a big one. Some of the craziest ones I've had is like somebody called out because they had to wash their cat and dog and take them. Like that was the top one for me. There was a way deeper story to that one probably, but I go back to Jesus released his disciples to go preach the gospel all over. And for us, we can do something. Like, I'm really good teaching kids, but yet then I wouldn't be doing my job well if that's all that I do. I need to sit back and let other people do it, and then maybe use that as a teaching moment. Hey, this is something that I think you could work on, or maybe let me encourage you with this. Right now, that's the stage I'm in. Like, we have 3 services. I'm getting ready to bring on a bunch of stage people, and I pulled myself completely out of the picture because I wanted to be able to develop leaders. It's long term. Like, if I was to get in a car accident and not make it to church or whatever, it's gonna run, it's gonna do its thing, and Jesus is gonna use them. But now I have the opportunity to develop them and help them be exactly what you want them to be. They may not start that way, but I learned that very quickly, just to pull yourself out of the things you like to do the most, so that you can create people that like to do it just as much as you, and now you're doubly as strong. And that's the biggest one for me.
I had a conversation with a couple people recently about this idea, and burnout is high in volunteers. And I think one of the reasons why people walk away is because we don't give them breaks. It's partly why people don't want to join our team, is because they think I'm going to sign in blood until Jesus returns. I have to stay in this classroom with these kids. And I think one of the reasons why leaders walk away is because they are tired. They are exhausted. They
if we don't give it, they'll take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think what's one of the things I've seen from leaders is the fact that, what's one of the first things I've done when I've gone into a new place of ministry is asked some of the people, how long have you been in this room serving? Have you ever taken a break? And those people that have been in the longest, usually I will be offering them a relief and a release to go take a season and step away for a year if they have to. And that's why I always gave my school year teams, I would set my teams up into seasons. My school year team got the summer off. Why? Because I didn't want them to burn out. I didn't want them to get so exhausted. And I don't like using the word burnout. This is more volunteer wear out. We wear people out. And dovetailing on that wear out is overuse. Unfortunately, children's ministry leaders and our team members get picked to, you're going to volunteer in Bible school. Oh, you're going to volunteer at kids camp. Oh, you're volunteering at the family popsicles in the park day. Oh, you're going to help run childcare for small groups. Oh, and it's like, no. My team, if they're serving on Sunday morning, that's where they serve. I protect them. I guard them. Why? Because if I don't, they're going to walk away on me. And so to me, those, I just think those are some things that I've seen personally. And in this conversation I was having with a couple of leaders, we were talking about this whole idea of why are volunteers quitting so much? Because it's obviously a shortage. That's why we're talking about it on this, and we'll be talking about it on a couple more episodes. Because it's a crisis.
I think we also have to navigate communication. I have seen a lot over the last year or so on social media, people looking for the golden egg or the secret sauce of how to communicate with volunteers. And I think lack of communication or communicating the wrong way, your volunteers will walk away. And when I tell people, well, you should email, because you have a lot of people that still get their information that way. Who are the people that you need to text? Who are the people, like if you're in planning center, like how do you do it? But I think we need to step back and not, how do I communicate that's easy and quick for me, but how do I communicate to all of my volunteers in a way that they will get the information they need, whether you it monthly, weekly, like what is your cadence? And do they know your cadence? Like if they don't know your cadence, that could also be a reason where they quit because they feel ill-equipped or they don't even know. Am I on? Do I have to go find the email? Do I have to go out and get the material every week, or is it going to be sent to me?
Yeah.
So I feel like the communication plan, and it's going to be different for every church, but it might be somebody needs to revisit their communication plan. That could be a reason why your volunteers aren't sticking.
That's one where a lot of people don't think about. Yeah. Good one.
All right. So I'm bringing it back. Season 2, we played these little games, and I got a game for us to play. All right. And we're going to let our listeners vote in the comments on our YouTube page.
No. Okay. This was new. This is season 3. This is new.
Of course.
The
something
mic
new
belongs to the people. And so we're going to find out who has the most ridiculous, crazy, outrageous, stupendous excuse for not serving or backing out of volunteering. So I want to know who's got the best. I told you mine was somebody had to take their dog and cat to get groomed, and the only time they could do it was Sunday, so they backed out. It didn't last very long. They backed out completely, but that was just like the dog ate my homework kind of thing. They probably just wanted to sleep in, but I would say that's one of my top ones. My other one was I did have a
wait. You get 2?
I know. Stop.
That's
stop.
not fair.
What's going on?
That was 2.
That was a past conversation. This is the one that I'm entering into the contest.
Okay.
I had somebody
like
call out because they were hungover. They partied a little too hard.
Well, that's a spiritual problem.
At least they were honest with you, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's the top one for me. I'm like, are you serious? Well, there was, yeah, that was Cole's gone.
Well, I guess I'll go then.
Scared him off.
So mine is Sunday morning. I got a text and it was, hey, forgot to let you know I was going to be out of the country. I'm actually in the Caribbean on vacation with my family.
Oh.
Ooh.
So there you go. There is mine.
Can you text from the Caribbean?
You can, depending on where you're at. Like Bahamas, you have texting back to the U.S.
You do, yeah.
Mexico, you have texting back to the U.S. But
and if you have iMessage or WhatsApp, you can. It's all you know.
Sunday morning, I forgot I was going to be on vacation in the Caribbean. I want somebody to surprise me with a Caribbean vacation, so I'm just throwing it out there. So
on a Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, I can
KMC cruise.
Just take me away at 7 a.m. Free Disney cruise headed my way. I'm good. Yeah. Cole, what do you got?
Man, I don't have a Bahamas or I don't have any of that. I had a volunteer. This was last year, and if they hear the story, they're gonna know who it is. So I'm really hoping they don't listen to the podcast.
Cole's gonna get himself in trouble.
I am coffee.
He's gonna have a volunteer quitting soon.
If you know Cole, turn it off now.
Yeah. I had a volunteer text me at 10:45 at night, which is about 15 minutes before I go to bed. And the text was, hey, my girlfriend just found out she's on the worship team at her church tomorrow morning. I'm not going to make it to kids ministry because I'm going to go watch her sing. That was at 10:45 p.m. And then I'll leave it offline about what I responded with for the KMC for you guys. I'm not going to throw him under the bus like that, but
no.
His girlfriend apparently at 10:45, the planning at her church, she didn't find out she was singing worship until 10:45 Saturday night, which therefore meant he couldn't serve at our church because,
Well done.
That's interesting. Okay, Tom, you need to throw your next one in there so that people can vote which one is the most ridiculous.
I don't know if I could beat Vicky's. Vicky's is good.
Yeah. I don't think I could top this, but it did crack me up a little bit. Was I got this text message saying, so 2 things happened. One of my kids put something in the laundry that colored all of our clothes, a really funky color. And which I never did find out what color it was that all of their clothes supposedly had changed to, but apparently their key fob was in the wash and apparently it was cracked or something. And so the washing machine actually just kind of like killed the fob. So they couldn't get into their car to even come to church because her husband was the husband or wife that texted me. Anyway, I can't even remember who it was that messaged me. Anyway, their spouse was gone. They're home with the kids in funky colored clothes and the key fob
didn't work.
Destroyed.
Man, a lot of things that happened there.
They're hitting you with a bunch so that you'll.
That's like 6 things, man.
And how do you for at least one of them?
How do you argue with that? When it's this. Well, I was out too late and I overslept or whatever. But yeah, how do you go?
Well, especially when they're key fob. If they're like key fob literally doesn't work because it was in the wash. It was like depending on how far they are away. Well. Take an Uber.
They're in the Caribbean right now. That's where they're
at. They're on the beach.
Yeah, they're really sitting
on
the beach.
Tie-dye and Hawaiian shirts. That's what happened to their outfit.
So,
they're with Vicky's people.
Yeah. I love this conversation that we're talking about a mix, right? We really are talking about a mix of these are some really hilarious, ridiculous reasons that volunteers call off. We know that volunteers call off for these reasons all the time. So we are not saying that that doesn't happen for our listeners. However, how many times is the volunteer calling off? Is it them stepping away? Is something that is under our control and something that we could prevent? Like, how do we begin to shift it from them to what about me, that I could shift my thinking and helping them be a more successful volunteer?
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh. I mean, one of the things, it goes back to what we've talked a lot about, is that relationship and expectation. If you've built a relationship with your team and this is where you know you're going to have a group of individuals versus a team of people, because the team cares about each other. The team knows that, hey, if I don't show up, it's going to impact everybody. But that expectation of, hey, in my teams, we had the expectation, because of how we structured our volunteer team, it was their responsibility. It was the expectation of all of us that if you knew you weren't going to be there, to go get your sub, make sure they're secured, and communicate it to the coach so that it got passed on to me, so that we all knew so-and-sos aren't going to be there, but this person has swapped with them a week and they're going to do it. But they also knew that if they called off, myself or one of my coaches was going to be checking up on them. I've talked to several leaders that just are afraid to contact volunteers when they call off. I'm like, no, man, that's when you want to talk to them, because you want them to know they were missed.
Right. And there could be something really wrong. Why? Especially if they were a no-show volunteer. No-show volunteer, I want to call you not because it's like, where are you? But I want to make sure you're okay.
Are you okay?
And I think even changing our heart posture to that goes a long way with the volunteers. Hey, man, just wondering where you're at. Is everything okay?
Yep. I think that's a game changer to keep people from quitting, is because they know they're part of something big and it matters. And it matters,
it's almost like
when
the
they're
other
not
way
there.
of the thank you, of saying you're not here, but I do appreciate you when you are here. Why aren't you here? I want you to be a part of this bigger thing that you know.
Yeah, we missed you. I mean, I let people know, hey, we really missed you this morning. I'm glad you're okay, but man, we really missed you. And hey, look, and again, this is where I turn it to a teaching moment to say, hey, look, if this happens in the future, please let us know as soon as you can, because one, we're worried about you, but two, the kids miss you, and three, it does impact us. I just want my team to know that they have that, and that's part of what we do, because they matter, and what they do matters.
You guys are convicting me right now. I've got my phone out. I am texting one of. I'm
wondering what you're doing right in the middle of our podcast. I'm like,
I'm
Ben.
in the middle of a podcast. I had a volunteer reach out and just say, I'm in the middle of this life question. Like, do I stick with my job or not? I could use some prayers. And that was a few days ago. I haven't checked back with them. Y'all convicting me over here. I'm right here.
This is season 3. We're coming at you live and real.
Keeping it real.
We go silent. We're checking in with people.
Hey, man, I hope you're doing well. I miss you. All right, keep going. We're going.
That is awesome. Tom, I love your 3-2-1 or your 1-2-3, just because I love a good plan like that, where we can just give our listeners these are 3 things that you can do just to check in with those people.
Yeah, I think it's huge if we, and it's one of those things. Like I say, I can't wait to get into some more of these conversations, and then I know we're getting low on time here, but man, I can't wait to dive into some of these other volunteer topics, and I really do hope that people will follow along with this, because and give us your questions if you've got some questions on volunteer stuff, on building a culture, building a team, all that kind of stuff. We'd love to answer them on air. It's just one of those things. But I do think we've got to make sure we're taking care of people, and it's just as simple, like Ben, pull out your phone, text somebody. You can text 5 volunteers in 5 minutes.
I mean, right now, while you're listening, do it.
There you go. While you're listening,
y'all
text.
just pulling on my heartstring. Season 3 is coming in hot. Oh man.
Love it. Man. So, all right. Well, we've got to wrap up, but what would be somebody give our listeners a challenge besides texting 5 volunteers? I think that's a good one, but what's an action step, or what's a question that a leader should be asking themselves about volunteer quitting?
Okay, I got this one, because it's kind of on Ben's premise of texting. I'm not saying text to volunteer right now or anything, but like, think through your team this week. Think through everyone that's been there. Maybe the people that have been there, because Tom talked about people that have been there for years, and maybe you haven't had a conversation of how you doing. Why haven't you? Do we need to take a break? I'm not saying let's have a break conversation, but have an honest check-in conversation with one person this week. Whether it's someone going through your onboarding process, like, how's the process going? What does this look like for you? Or maybe, again, it's that person that's been there serving for 20 years who's taken like very little breaks. Maybe you're like, hey, maybe we set up a time where you take a few months off or something like that. Or maybe it's a high schooler who's not really sure how equipped they are to really do this thing, and they got stuck with the kindergartners, and they're like, I'm just hanging on by a thread. Because I was that guy once. So the challenge this week is have an honest conversation with at least one of your volunteers about how are things going? How is your role? How are you feeling?
I'm going to one up that, Cole. And I'm going
gosh.
No, this is, so put it, instead of a period at the end of your challenge, put a comma. Have an honest conversation with someone outside of the walls of the church. Invite them to lunch on a Sunday afternoon or Friday night. Take them out to eat.
I like
that. It says, hey, I genuinely care about you, comma, how are you doing? And then ask all those questions around the table at Outback Steakhouse or something. Or you can go to McDonald's.
The challenge. Can he do a double challenge? Look at
double challenge. Comma.
Double challenge, the triple challenge. Well, triple challenge. No. Uh-oh, Ben's frozen. There he is. He's back.
Wow.
You never know what's going to happen on season 3. That's for sure. That's for sure.
He's making our listeners vote. He's doing double challenges. This is
the microphone is open. The people speak.
That's right.
That's right. That's
here to help.
Love it. Love it.
So, Vicki, what should somebody do if they need some help with volunteers? Where can they go to get help?
Yeah. So I think you're looking at a few people right here. So if you have a challenge with volunteers, finding yourself in volunteers burnout, volunteer shortage, trying to figure out how to do something with your onboarding plan, we would love to help you. We would love to come alongside you. We offer 30-minute free coaching sessions that you can schedule and come and ask us a bunch of questions and get a head start on figuring things out. Would be happy to sit with you, any one of us. And so if you want clarity on something else, you don't have to wait until we talk about it here. You can also do a 30-minute call on that. But really, as we're going into a volunteer season, we're always in a volunteer season, right?
Yeah.
And so as you're going into your next volunteer season, we are here. Schedule that call and let's chat. We are better together. Be part of a roundtable with us.
Yep. So head over to kidministrycollective.com, scroll down or go to kmccoach.net, hit the coaching tab wherever you want. And schedule a call. We'd love to have a conversation with you, or head over into our Facebook group and let's continue this conversation about volunteers quitting. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of the KMC Collective Podcast. I'm Tom.
I'm Cole.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Vicki. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Hey, friend, that wraps up the KMC Collective Podcast for this week. Thanks so much for listening. If today's episode sparked something, an idea, a heartbeat, or a fresh start, drop us a line at tom@tombump.com or reach out on social media. We'd love to hear your story and keep the conversation going. Remember, you're not just doing kids ministry, you're shaping the next generation's faith with intention and care. Be encouraged, be creative, and take a breath. You've got this. Catch you next time on the KMC Collective Podcast.